Just before Provincial Grand Chapter at the beginning of May, I was familiarising myself with the address that I was going to give, and I did it by recording it on my telephone. That recording was uploaded, and by the time of Provincial Grand Lodge meeting at the end of May, it had been viewed nearly 500 times. So I thought that I would repeat the process and do the same thing whilst familiarising myself with the address that I'm going to give at Provincial Grand Lodge, to record it and upload it, and hopefully you're watching this now. The thing that I learnt from doing it the first time was that it's better to do it indoors, and it's certainly better to have brushed my hair. But if you were there, this is the address that you would have heard. I congratulated everyone who had received their provincial honours that day, whether they were first appointments or promotions. They were all well deserved, and I trust that all received them will use their new seniority to help them achieve even more than they've already done so to date, which justified the honour in the first place. And I wanted to share what I'd been doing in the province over the last 6 months or so. I've been making official visits to a lodge or a chapter every week and attending regular communication group meetings and various meetings and conference calls with the Program Master or one of the other rulers, which all Provincial Grand Masters attend. What with those meetings, quarterly communications, Supreme Grand Chapter meetings, the Grand Investitures, and as well as attending my own lodges and chapters, plus the odd extra event that I'm asked to attend here or there, it adds up to me being a pretty busy Mason. But no less busy than my deputy, assistants or other active provincial officers. However, we do need to be careful to ensure that we're all allowing ourselves enough time for the other important parts of our lives, and the same may be true for others listening to this address now. Nonetheless, there is much to do, and there is a lot of work going on in the province as it evolves and progresses. But if a barometer of the health and the mood of the province is the apparent success of Festival 2029, well then I'm pleased to think that morale is good. Anyone at the festival launch at the cathedral on the 22nd of March, or who has seen the Provincial Grand Charity Steward on his rounds reporting an ever-increasing pot of cash that he's collecting, they'll know that we're in rude health and in good spirit. So it's not surprising when I hear, as I have on a couple of occasions, well, if the province isn't broken, why are we trying to fix it? Now, speaking candidly, such comments are often made by those who might prefer to resist change, whose ascent in Masonry may have plateaued, or who is challenged to think about doing things differently so that we might do better when it comes to engaging with our newer members, or when communicating with non-members of our lodges or even non-Masons. But it's true, the province isn't broken, but nor is my car. However, if I don't book it in for its regular service and MOT, if I don't keep the fuel, oils and other liquids topped up, and if I only drive it by looking through the rear view mirror, well, you know how that's going to end up, don't you? So if we're going to be completely honest with ourselves, we must acknowledge, as in fact most of you already have, that change is inevitable. And it's happening. And there's more to come, but it's not something that should give anyone any cause for concern. Nothing that is being done or is to be done is meant as a criticism or comment on how the province has been run to date. I remember with great fondness the grace and the authority of the late Bob Tiles' leadership, and Barry Ross's proficient yet laid-back manner that was developed by Ian Yeldham's bonhomie, energy and enthusiasm. We've been very fortunate in recent times to be led by these great Masons, and I know that I have the full support of Barry and Ian in the same way that they had the support of Bob and Pip Kay before. So since getting over the shock of the first of these changes, me, we've combined the roles of Provincial Grand Scribee and the Provincial Grand Secretary. We've replaced 9 group representatives with 14 visiting officers. We've completely redesigned the way that the Executive Lodge, PJK, operates, and every collared officer has sat down with me, or he will very soon, to discuss their roles, their responsibilities and the plans they have for the future. And I hope you've already noticed better provincial communications, not just about lodge business, but about provincial work. You may follow me on Instagram, that's at Suffolk Megs, M-E-G-S, or Suffolk PGM. You may have heard our first podcast or even seen the address that I delivered at Grand Chapter, just the way I'm delivering this one online right now. Well, these initiatives are in addition to the publication of Forum and the updating and the upgrading of our website, which is a long overdue task. But with regard to other changes, personnel changes, we got an additional Assistant Provincial Grand Master in November. Now that actually created a fundamental change that might not be obvious at first sight. You see, by having 2 Assistant Provincial Grand Masters, there became an urgent need for each of them to have separate and distinct purposes, which is one of the reasons why so much work has been going on in changes to the structure of the province. So APGM1, Ralph Robertson, well, he's now responsible for the oversight of the visiting officers, the director of ceremonies, the almoner, charity steward, orator, and he's responsible for community engagement. Whereas APGM2, that's Dean Willingham, Dean will be responsible for overseeing membership, mentoring, the light blues, and provincial communications. Now, as we're talking about the roles of the new Assistant Provincial Grand Masters, I must acknowledge the service of the last APGM, Worshipful Brother Bob Lee. Bob has been such an asset to the province as APGM, and I'm certain that he will not ever be far away and that he will continue to support and to help us as he's always done with his usual style. Bob, as you may know, was a director of the Southwold Brewer, Adnams, and it's clear to all who have worked with him that he has vast experience of managing people and projects and uses his charm and dedication to get the best from his colleagues. I've been very lucky to have his wisdom and support for the last 6 months, and I look forward to future meetings with him, as I don't think he's got any plans to slow down just yet. He's recently offered his services to help the Lowestoft Masonic Hall Company make certain changes to the structure of their business, which will help them ensure that Lowestoft continues to thrive as one of the key parts of our province. Thank you, Bob, for all you've done, for your counsel, for your friendship, and for your service to this great province. The final change I want to mention is also a thought with which I want to leave you, and it comes under the heading of community engagement. There will be more about this coming to a lodge near you soon, with information about how, what, where and when and what it all means for you. But I pose this question to you now. Why are you still a Mason? It's a question I hope you can answer, but if not, it's one I encourage you to spend some time considering. Some enjoy Masonry because of the opportunity it affords them to enable us to serve our communities, and many of you have been doing so long before you heard of the third pillar. But now we have an identified strategy which has community engagement as one of its key pillars. We aim to be better at it by creating more opportunities for more Masons to do more, or to do what we're already doing with more impact. The reason why you continue to be a Mason and you choose to spend your time here at Provincial Grand Lodge, for which by the way I'm very grateful, might be different. But if that's the case, fear not. One thing I'm not going to try and change is you. On the contrary, we need Masons of every sort, the doers, the thinkers, the ritualists, and those who manage our lodges and committees. We need those who support our charity stewards and who help our almoners with the widows and the members in their times of need. We need those who can tell a good clean joke or can sing a good song. We need those who bring in candidates just as much as we need those who arrange fun festive boards, and we need those who challenge us and who make us justify our actions and our traditions. We particularly need this last group. It's usually the young ones who don't necessarily fall into line or do things the way that you did them. They're the ones who sometimes need convincing, but at the same time might point out that perhaps some of the old ways of doing things need to be reconsidered so that our ways continue to complement the world in which we occupy, because it's not just the leadership in Suffolk that's changing. Everything is always changing, and it is only by changing with the world that we keep up with it. And by doing that, we will be able to keep Freemasonry the same, by providing a means for personal development while doing good work and having great fun. Now, as you support your new and young members, I will ensure that the province supports you, and thus I think I've started to work out why I am still a Mason. is to help the institution I love continue to grow and to thrive. Thank you.